The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi everyone. Today on Aging Horizons, we're going to be talking about energy, heat, and how you can keep your home nice and warm and still afford to pay those energy bills. We have some great guests with us today who are going to give us some really wonderful tips on how to really efficiently use our energy and also how to get that energy. So, stay tuned.
If you give or receive care, you already know that it can cause stress on caregiver and receiver alike. The good news is, if you have limited resources, help is available. The Montana Lifespan Respite Program may be able to help you pay for care while you take a break. Even better news is how easy it is to apply. You can get an application online or have one sent to you. We'll get back to you within 5 working days. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
Seems like the power bills just get higher and higher every year. I'm on a fixed income and it just doesn't keep up. I hate to do it, but sometimes I have to choose between my meds and staying warm.
No one should ever have to choose between staying well and staying warm. If you need help paying your heating bills, call us today to find out if you qualify. Help is available for both homeowners and renters.
The cold gets into your bones and you can't get it out.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Hello everyone and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimmy Everman, and you know what? It's getting cold out there. So it's time for our annual show about energy and keeping warm and actually being able to afford it while you save the earth by really doing efficient energy things and just having a good time living. With us today is Paul Cheetah. Paul, hello.
Hello.
And Paul, you are a program manager for the Energy Bureau at the Department of Environmental Quality.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
So tell us, Paul, what should people know about energy use in their home?
Well, there are a couple segments in a person's energy bill. There's a base load and then the heating load.
Okay.
The base would be a typical June bill, where you would have your appliances, your lighting, your water heating, but not your heating. So that base times 12 sets up a base amount. And then if you look up your gas bill, most people are heating with natural gas. If you look at that gas bill and subtract out that base, that would be your heating portion.
Thank you. I've never known that.
That's explained in our Energy Savers Guidebook.
Hey, great segue.
These are available online, or if you call us, we can send you a copy.
Wow, that looks great.
It was very timely.
So what should folks do when they're thinking about conserving energy, Paul? I mean, none of us want to waste our money, and we also want to save the earth. So what should we be doing in terms of conservation?
Well, one of the first things is consider an energy audit. The Department of Energy estimates that 80% of homes built before 1980 are under-insulated. Wow. There's typically not near enough insulation in an attic. The recommendation is to have about 16 inches of insulation. So the recommendation would first be have an energy audit, and typically what they'll do is do some air sealing to prevent that air leakage from going up into the attic before you insulate. So considering an energy audit or having one done from the utility company would be a recommendation. One of the first steps.
And how would you do that? Would you just call your utility and ask them?
Yes,
Okay.
you can just call the utility and they will set up a time.
Okay, that's great first step. What else?
Well, another one would be to look at some of the appliances you're using in your home, making sure your water heater is 120 degrees or lower, checking that with a thermometer. If you can't hold your hand under your water, it's probably too hot. So you're paying to heat it up and then cooling it down. Checking your furnace filter. Typically, furnace filters should be changed every 3 to 4 months. Would be another thing. Another is just changing all your light bulbs. Going with the LED bulbs. This is a 9-watt bulb. Compare it to like a 60-watt bulb. It'll save about $5 a year. Pay for itself in 2 or 3 months. Last 22 years as opposed to just a few years.
22 years.
Changing the
Wow.
bulb. Another thing is the appliances. If there is a light glowing, if it's a cell phone charger, they are using electricity, and that can amount to typically 50 cents to $1 a month. All those things can add up. So just going with a strip heater, and just if it's not in use, just flipping
Turn
it off. If big screen TVs can be 250 watts, and that left on, that can amount to $9 to $10 a month having it on all day.
And I think you make such a good point, Paul. It all adds up.
Yes.
It may not seem like much when we're talking about it, but it all adds up.
Yeah, the little things. Another, this time of year, is engine heaters. An engine heater will draw about 600 to 700 watts, and that can amount to, if it's on for 8 hours a day for a month, that is about $18. Typically, your car only has to have the heater on for about 1 or 2 hours. And you'll save $16 a month. So pretty much you can pay for your timer within 1 month.
That's amazing. What do you think are the biggest energy users in the home, though? I mean, and what can we do to really lower that rate?
Well, the big one is going to be your furnace, your heating bill. And the rule of thumb is that changing your thermostat from 75 to 65, that's a 30% reduction in what your gas or your heating bill would be. It's about a 3% per degree, or just setting it back at night. It's about 1% savings per 8-hour savings. Now, we're not encouraging people to get cold.
No, of course not.
Wearing a sweater, but that's one of the main factors in your heating portion is what your thermostat is set at.
And I think a lot of us in our audience, included, grew up with our moms and dads telling us to put a sweater on if we were cold, and we all grew up just fine. And again, we're not advocating that people be cold at all. But there's a lot of things that you can do to just help yourself feel more comfortable. Right? So are there any incentives for making a home more efficient, do you think?
Yes, there is. There's a state of Montana tax credit. It's 25% of the cost, labor and material for any insulation that would be done in the home. It's replacing windows. The windows do have to meet a minimum efficiency rating, and almost all of them do, but windows, doors, caulking, weather stripping, it's 25% up to $500 per person per year. So as long as you keep making improvements in the home, you can keep taking that tax credit.
So you're going to make improvements, you're going to take that tax credit, you're going to pay less to the utility company because all these improvements are going on, and you're going to still be warm.
Yeah, and you're going to be comfortable.
There you go.
Doing the ceiling, you'll cut down on the drafts, and your home will be more comfortable. So it's a win-win situation.
Everywhere. Well, I want to just encourage folks to go to the website and get that guide and learn how to be efficient with your heat.
I was angry and upset when the doctor told me I have diabetes. I just didn't want to deal with it, the needles and the diet restrictions. But after I started to learn about it, those feelings changed. I was at risk for a heart attack caused by high blood sugar. That got my attention. I started watching my diet and making sure I got enough exercise every day. I want to be around for my grandkids, and now that I know what to do, it seems like a small price to pay.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
I had a terrible fall in December, and I put a hole in my wall. I hit it with my head, and it really, really scared me. The Stepping On program gave me confidence. We had a physical therapist come. He gave me specific exercises to strengthen my legs. I think that a lot of people in Montana need to take this program. We all think that we get to a certain age, you hit 60, and we expect to fall. You don't have to.
When I stopped showing up, Jim showed up at my door. He took me to the hospital in town to get me help. That's the day Jim saved my life.
Everyone has a role to play in preventing suicide. Know the signs and don't be afraid to speak up. If someone you know is in crisis or emotional distress, the only wrong thing to say is nothing at all. Call 800-273-TALK or text MT to 741-741.
When I first got here, I was struggling. No money, sleeping on the living room floor of a friend's apartment.
Diana Johnson, Energy Share Coordinator.
I know what it's like to need a hand. Now that I work with Energy Share, I help people pay their winter heating bills. I don't care if you're a veteran, a senior citizen, have a family, or are single. Energy Share is here to help.
If you need help paying your power bills, call or visit Energy Share, helping Montana families get through the winter since 1984.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Aging Horizons. It's our annual show about keeping warm in this cold Montana winter. So glad you're with us. We have a lot of information to share with you. This segment we have with us Sherry Shepard. Hi Sherry.
Hello.
And Sherry, you're an energy specialist or services specialist for DPHHS.
That's correct, yes.
Department of Public Health and Human Services. And then we also have Rachel Haberman. Rachel, you've been here like a dozen times probably. And you're the executive director at Energy Share.
Right.
So let's start out with talking about LEAP, because very important to our folks. Do you want to give us a little explanation?
Sure. LEAP is the Low Income Energy Assistance Program.
Sure.
And it helps pay a portion of winter heating bills for low income customers. The income guidelines for one person household is $25,248, and for a two-person household is $33,017. And we don't distinguish between homeowners and renters. So
you mean you can apply if you're a renter?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you can, and we encourage them to apply.
Super. And you know, I wonder what about is an average benefit that a person might get?
This year, the average benefit is up a little bit. It's about $550, and that'll vary based on the fuel type, the size of the home.
Sure.
But the average benefit is about $250.
And you know, that would be extremely helpful. That would really, I think, for folks with medium homes and such, it would probably get them through the winter. Pretty easily. So that sounds great. So when do they apply?
They can apply anywhere from October 1st through April 30th.
Okay.
We'll take applications all the way through April 30th.
So how does that work then? What if you wait till April? Is it going to pay your back bill that you haven't gotten paid, or go forward?
It pays your back bill.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It'll go back to October 1st and pay all
Gotcha.
your bills from October 1st forward. And deliverable fuels will go back to July 1st because we allow the customers to get the early fuel, the cheaper fuel, so their LEAP benefit will go further.
So if a person qualifies for LEAP, do you think, are there other benefits that they might be eligible for?
Certainly, yes. So they, if they're eligible for LEAP, they're automatically eligible for weatherization. And it's on a priority list, so when your name comes up on the list, the agency will contact you and they'll do an energy audit.
Okay, so that's weatherization. Energy audit. And how else does that look? I mean, what else happens?
Well, they just do an energy audit and try to identify where leaky spots in your home.
Okay.
You know, do you need insulation in the attic? Do you need a window or door replaced? Where are you losing your energy through your home? So.
Okay. And how does the person apply, Sherry?
Okay, so there are several ways that you can get an application. We do have a website with the application on there.
Okay,
You
and
can
we'll put that up on the screen.
fill out the application, print it, and send it into the local LEAP office. We also have an 800 number where you can call and get a LEAP application.
It sounds pretty easy, and I think it is. I know people that have applied. It's not hard, right? It's
That's
just very easy, and our hope is that you'll do so and stay warm.
Yes.
Correct?
And comfortable.
Exactly. Well, Rachel, let's get you into this conversation because we also have something called Energy Share. And we want to make sure we're clear about the difference processes with each. So why don't you explain?
Okay. So Energy Share is a private nonprofit organization, and our main purpose is to help people facing energy emergencies. So someone who's facing loss of heat or lights in their home, usually due to circumstances or reasons beyond their control, and they flat out do not have the money to pay that bill. We want to help them stay warm.
Exactly. But they need to apply for LEAP first.
Right. We ask them to do that first, and then if they still need help or if they didn't qualify for LEAP, then they can apply for Energy Share. And they can apply at the same office as they apply for LEAP at. It's the Human Resource Development Councils across Montana.
And we just want to be real clear, it's not that that's paying monthly things. It's for an emergency, and it's a lump payment, correct?
Right, and the payment goes directly to the energy provider.
Okay. And again, we want to make sure people understand, try LEAP first.
That's right.
Because Energy Share, as great as it is got kind of a different purpose in a way.
Right. We try to, LEAP tries to catch people on the front end, and we're there as a safety net.
There you are. That's that's a perfect explanation of it. What about helping in your purpose? I call it neighbors helping neighbors stay warm. Can people donate or help?
Absolutely, right. Energy Share is a nonprofit, so we're a 501c3, so donations are tax deductible, and people will see donation envelopes or pledge cards in their November utility bill or the monthly Rural Montana magazine in November. You can also donate electronically on Energy Share's website, or most of the time, if you want to donate to Energy Share, you can send an extra amount with your energy bill. Make sure they know it's for Energy Share, and those utility companies and co-ops will get it to us.
That is just great. And I'm just looking at some of our notes. 100% of your gift is?
It goes to help people in need. So it really
in
is
your
in your area. That's right.
And I think we all, there's so much strife in the world, and so many people need things, but our people at home need things too.
Exactly.
And it's really important that we reach out to them first and foremost. Well, I just think that Energy Share and LEAP are awesome programs. So glad that you guys are around. Are you thinking you're going to have a lot of applications this year?
We're hoping so. We're hoping that the number of applications will increase. They've been down the last couple of years, so we are doing outreach and trying to get the applications out.
Good. Well, folks, you heard it here. Try, reach out. You might just be eligible for something you're not aware of. And keep you very warm and safe.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
Questions about Medicare and other types of insurance? Contact the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office to get answers to questions like, what is the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, and how do you decide if you need Medicare supplemental insurance? This insurance counseling program is not a sales program. It is available to provide answers to your insurance questions. For more information, call the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office at 1-800-332-2272.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Final call from like 566.
Hello, gentlemen. May I see your Montana Real IDs?
IDs? Why, I'm Captain Meriwether Lewis.
And I'm Captain William Clark.
Hang on, I see more than one William Clark.
It's the real me, I promise.
Discover more at mtrealid.gov. Available now.
Montana Real ID. It's the real me.
And me.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. It's our annual Keepin' Warm show. We're talking about energy, Energy Share, LEAP, and this segment we're going to talk about how that all comes to be. We have with us Brad Johnson. Brad, welcome. And Brad, you're the Public Commission or the Public Services Commission Chairman.
That's correct.
Let's start out with this. What's your mission?
The mission of the Commission is one that's not always widely understood. We have a responsibility to make sure that Montana utility customers have access to utility services that are three things: affordable, reliable, and sustainable. Okay. So we've got to meld all three of those elements into the decisions we make. A lot of folks think that we are policymakers, and we're not. We apply the policies that the legislature passes into law. And we have to do that, frankly, more like a court than like a legislature. So when we have issues come before the Commission, we have to go into that process with a completely open mind, listen to the evidentiary record that's presented by all sides. A lot of folks think we are a primary advocate for consumers, and that is not our role. The Montana Consumer Council, established in the Constitution, is the primary advocate for consumers. We are more, as some of my colleagues like to put it, in charge of calling the balls and strikes that come
You're
before
directing
us.
some traffic, it sounds like.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so because we're not a policymaker, that means we don't look at things like economic impact of proposals that come before us. That's not part of the criteria we're allowed to apply.
Wow.
We are not allowed to apply potential environmental co-benefits or costs. That's not part of what, again, we're allowed to do. We are strictly an economic regulator who has to look at the dollars and cents and look at those in the context of, will this keep utility rates as low as possible while maintaining reliability of service and keeping the utility healthy enough to continue to provide those services.
Yes.
So that in a nutshell is our mission.
Yeah, and thank you for clarifying about the advocate piece, because I believe that a lot of people do think that. Yeah. So that was good. I think that's good to clarify that. Brad, but are there companies that are outside the jurisdiction of the PSC?
Yeah, the statute's very clear. We have regulatory jurisdiction over those investor-owned utilities that serve the state, like Montana Dakota Utilities or Northwestern Energy. We do not have any regulatory authority over either electric or telephone co-ops. Those, as member-owned businesses, are self-regulating, and the statute's very clear on that. We also have responsibility for regulating certain areas of surface transportation, solid waste, affectionately known as garbage, some of the people-moving industries, taxis, the ride-sharing, Lyft and Uber, some of those things.
Sure.
We have regulation of the old wireline telephone systems, but have nothing to say about any of the wireless service. That's out of our jurisdiction.
Okay.
Cable TV is out of our jurisdiction, and internet is out of our jurisdiction. So we're fairly narrow in the scope of our regulatory authority.
Again, thank you for clarifying, because I certainly wasn't aware of what you were talking about there before. One question that is always on our minds during this show is the moratorium of disconnection of services during winter time. Can you talk about that, Brad? Because that's something that I think people fear, but they don't have good information about it.
Well, and it can be a fairly complex question. There is that period from November 1 until April 1 where a utility that seeks to disconnect a customer for non-payment of services has to come to the commission and seek approval for that disconnect. So that's a pretty...
Okay, so what you're saying is you don't, the company doesn't just go, okay, we're going to do it.
Nope.
They have to ask permission.
We have to
Nice.
authorize that disconnect. There are a number of elements, a number of requirements that have to be met by the utility in terms of notification and the like before that disconnect can take place. And then there are exceptions that can protect a customer from that disconnect.
Such as?
There are, for example, if a medical provider says the loss of electric service will aggravate a medical condition that's being treated, that kind of thing. And I try not to quote too many of those from memory because you know, there's a complete accounting of the process available on our website and through our customer assistance folks. We have a tremendous customer assistance staff that are available through an 800 number, and certainly encourage people with questions to contact them or go to our website
and stuff.
So there's a kind of a multi-tiered level of protection there for folks. A lot of folks seem to have come to the understanding that if you have young children in the home, that is an exception, and it is not. It's these other criteria that have to be met to prevent that. But I will say it is, if you're having trouble paying your bill, absolutely positively contact your utility. They really, I have to tell you, want to find ways to make it work out. They don't want to turn off the electricity any more than we want them to, and they really are great to work with. If you feel you've had some reasonable impasse with the utility, we encourage you to call the commission and talk to our customer assistance folks. I'm not promising you that we...
No, but reach out.
But a lot of times we can at least help make sure that both parties are communicating effectively and that there aren't misunderstandings about what's going on in that
Brad,
regard.
thank you so much. It's been a great show. Thanks for being with us and telling us all this great information.
I appreciate it.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.